Greetings and salutations. Today we're going to talk about some Cyberpunk 2020, which is a very old game from, I think, the early 90s. That basically is one of the first major dystopian, the corporations have taken over futures in history. The other one is Shadowrun, which I will talk about another day. But Cyberpunk is a dystopian future RPG where the corporations have taken over the world and they hold more power than governments if governments still exist, and you play as people trying to survive in a world that is entirely run by money and bureaucracy. A lot of times the people that are rich have all of the power and all of the money, and everyone else is just scraping to get by. So most of the lower cities are run by gangs, the cops don't have a lot of power, and you just sort of do different jobs for different people to make ends meet. Cyberpunk runs on a D10 system where you roll a single D10 and add your relevant stat and skill, and you have your end result, which if you roll a 10, your 10s explode, so you roll again and things get bigger as you go. Everyone is human in Cyberpunk, though you can have like cybernetic implants to make you look different. But that's neither here nor there. The main classes are Rocker Boy, where you get charismatic leadership, you can inspire riots and things like that. Solos are mercenaries who excel in combat. Fixers are gang leaders, spies, informants, people that know how to get what you need and the information you need at a price. There are techies who fix machinery, and then there are med techies who fix people. And there are netrunners who, in this edition, are pretty much confined to a rig where they can access the internet across the world and get into security systems and open up doors and things like that that are normally inaccessible to your party. There are also nomads, and nomads are just wandering people that go from city to city, and they stay for short amounts of time to make ends meet. They have a very strong familial system, and that's sort of what they have going for them. So those are the main classes. And a lot of times what you'll have is that you'll have a group of these people that are hired to do a job for a corporation or a government trying to gain different types of tech or different types of medicine or different things here and there, financial records, corporate espionage, and you try your best to make a lot of money and pay off all your debts. Cyberpunk has a really nice gritty feel to it. The combat system is relatively fast. It's based on going into shock and dying, because a lot of times firefights end a lot faster than people expect because they just can't handle it and they go into shock and they collapse. So there's not a lot of long drug out fights. So that's a major pro there. The cons are that it is kind of old at this point, so a lot of the technology, a lot of the concepts are a little silly because it's 2015 and the game takes place in 2020, though there was a new edition that came out several years ago that pushed it back a little bit further. So that might be a little bit better to look at, but I don't have a copy of that. All in all, it's a pretty solid game. It stands on its own. It's a little hard to get everyone working together for long amounts of time because usually everyone has their own different interests. But everyone's major interest is making money, so if you keep the jobs coming in, it's pretty easy to keep the group together. An overarching story sometimes becomes a bit more difficult because you have to get everyone involved, as opposed to your day-to-day, well, we've run out of money, what do we do now stories. I enjoy it. It's got a really nice dystopian feel to it. Fight the power. Corporations are bad. All that other good stuff. So if it seems up your alley and you're not too big into magic or anything, then I recommend you check it out. If you're more into fantasy with your sci-fi, then you probably want to check out Shadowrun, which I will cover at a later date. Thank you very much for listening. This has been ADHD&D, and I'll see you next time.